Hello, this is Mike Swanson of Wall Street Window. I want to talk with you today about what's happening with Tesla stock because the stock's a very interesting position where it's likely to be just starting a big move right now. And traders can play that. Doesn't matter the direction of the move, they can go long or they can bet against something by shorting or going to the options market. And I also want to talk with you about just look at what's going on in the stock market today following that big drop of 1,000 points for the Dow on Friday. So let me load up what I'm looking at so you can see it along with me. But we're looking at here at a chart of Tesla. And I use technical analysis to interpret the trends that a stock or a market or ETF are in. And what we've seen with Tesla is the stock rallied up. It fell below its 200-day moving average in May, and then rallied back up into it in August. And that level in a big bull market or bull trend, which Tesla had been in for years, tends to act as support. That's the green line on this chart. But when you're not in a bull market, it tends to act as resistance. And Tesla is down year to date, even with the rally that we saw in May, June, July, and up until this recently at the end of August. But there's something more interesting from a trading perspective, though, when it comes to what's happening with Tesla. On this chart, there are two enveloping pink lines. Those are called Bollinger Bands, and what they measure is the price volatility, the true price volatility. People talk about the VIX, but that's really a sentiment indicator that has to do with the options market. It's called a volatility index, but it's not really tracking the mathematically real price volatility. So what the Bollinger Bands is doing is measuring the daily change in the price compared to what has happened before in the price. And these bands are based on a 20-day basis. Now, what happens is when what you're looking at is in a strong trend, one way or the other, the bands will expand, and often the price will ride the top of the band. You can see that's what Tesla stock did in March when it rallied from around 250 up to 380. That was a great swing for traders who would have played that. Now, what happened though is in April, the bands contracted, and I drew that on the bottom of the chart. There's an indicator measuring the width of the bands. What happens is when the bands get wide, volatility increases, and then volatility naturally will contract at some point in time. After expansion, there's a contraction, followed by another expansion in the bands. So that's what happened. When Tesla rallied in March up to 380, the stock went sideways. And that's what happens when the volatility shrinks. The bands contracted, then the next move began, and it was sharply down. Tesla fell below 210, in fact. To put this another way, in March, the stock had a nice thrust up, then it went sideways. Big moves are typically followed by sideways price action that causes the Bollinger Bands to contract. Then, when the stock dropped in May, there was another contraction in the bands that ended at the end of July. The stock traded actually in a range with 250 as resistance and approximately 220 as support in the first half of July. And then when it closed above 250, that signaled the end of the contraction of the bands, and we got a rally up in Tesla to approximately 310 in August. So 60-point move happened. Traders could have played that move. They could have bought the day Tesla closed above 250 and then sold up somewhere around 300. So that's how useful these bands can be for short-term trading. Look, I know a lot of people trade by looking at the Reddit message board, looking at the phone app and seeing what's up the most that day. They end up chasing headlines. By looking at Bollinger Bands, though, you can develop a strategy that's based on true price action and price trends and when the trends change. Now, what is happening now is that the bands have been contracting and the stock has support at 280. That's the low of the other week in August, resistance around 310. And we're at 286 right now. I think there's a high chance that we're going to see Tesla close below 280 within days. It could even happen on the close today. I'm doing this video around 1:15. If it does that, that will be confirmation to me that what we're actually seeing is a top being played out in Tesla, short-term top, that will lead to another decline. Now, I don't know how far the decline will go. It could just go to 210. It could go further than 210. But I think the next meaningful move will be a breakdown through this pause pattern that will lead to a decline in Tesla stock. Now, I actually am betting on that because on Friday, I bought an exchange traded fund that is designed to go up when Tesla goes down. And this is it, TSLS. So I'm up a little bit in this fund. So that's one trade I'm doing today that I got on in the market. Now, the funny thing about this trade, though, is I'm actually going against what most small traders and individual investors are doing when it comes to Tesla. You see, a complete mania has enveloped in trading Tesla stock. What you're looking at here is extremely fascinating. It's the Fidelity order flows by their customers updated in real time. It shows you the stocks ranked by the number of buys and sell orders, and then it even gives us the ratios of those orders. So we can look at this and see what are most people on Fidelity buying, what are they selling on any given day. You track this on a daily basis, and you get a feel for what the individual investor is doing in these markets. And I can tell you that Tesla has been consistently, usually is the number one stock on this list. It's been that way all year, and they're almost always buying the stock. Now, the past couple of weeks, we've seen, NVIDIA is usually at the top, Apple at the top, ETFs such as SPY, these ultra ETFs, SQQQ and TQQQ, 3 times leverage ETFs, which is really high risk gambling, Microsoft. But in the past few weeks, we've seen these meme stocks appear on the list. Best Buy, Best Bed Bath and Beyond, AMC, and GameStop. Snow is now on the list today. Some really strange stocks were on it last week. Well, there's one here, Old Group. I don't know what it is. But the point of this is that this is a good measurement of what small traders, individual investors are doing. Fidelity is one of the biggest brokerages in the United States carrying them, and they are a mass buyer when it comes to Tesla stock. Now, in a market like we're in now, small traders tend to be wrong. They can be right a day or two, but they tend to be wrong. They tend to be consistently, unfortunately, when after the market rallies, they end up holding the bag. And I'm fearful that's what's happening. And in fact, I'm betting that that's what's happening with my own money by buying and having a position in TSLS, that exchange traded fund. And the thing about it is the S&P 500, to me, looks just like it did in March and April when it last had its 2 previous peaks of this year. The S&P 500 rallied up to the 200-day moving average, the green line on the chart, and failed to break out, and it's just dumped ever since. I know the market action on Friday with the Dow falling over 1,000 points and all the attention in the media about what the Federal Reserve Chairman said about inflation and interest rates, that dominated the headlines, it dominated people's minds. But the reality is, the market move, if you look at it now, half the move down happened before that meeting. Let me repeat that. Half the move down in the market since the last peak in this rally happened before the Friday meeting. So we've been in a downtrend now for almost 2 weeks in the market. The resistance has held. I believe we're in a real bear market. Yes, the market rallied up in June, July, and August, but you get counter trend rallies in bear markets. And it's just the way markets go. Nothing goes straight up, and nothing goes straight down. And the cornerstone for my analysis of the market remains technical analysis. In fact, I've written an entire book about it in what I call stage analysis, which is very simple. I've already said it before, but I'll say it again in this video to you. Look at how the market is trending relative to its 200-day moving average. When you're below that moving average, it's acting as resistance. That's a bear market. It's a stage 4 bear market. Stage 2 is when the opposite's happening, and you get a stage 3 in between and a stage 1 in between those phases too. So, this is just what's going on. And you can trade. I believe in trading with the trend of the market. And I'm not saying just go crazy betting against the stock market. I'm not. I'm very defensive right now. I have a heavy cash position, but I just do some small trades here and there. And one of them is in TSLS, as I mentioned to you. And in a video several weeks ago, I talked about TBT, an ETF designed to bet against TLT. And that trade has worked out just great. And it's working out still today because of the direction the bond market's going. So that's what I'm about, looking for trades aligned with the market trends, not just what I want to happen. Yes, I would prefer that we're in a bull market in which you can just buy stock and just hold it and it just goes up, and it's great. It's easier to make money that way. You make more money that way, quite frankly, but this is what it is. And I want to help you in these markets. Grab this book. You can get it on Amazon, Strategic Stock Trading. It's a classic trading book. It's over 10 years old now, but the principles in the book remain completely true today, and I still use them to guide my decisions. So those are my thoughts I want to share with you today. Look, I do videos about all sorts of topics: news, history, economics, real estate. If you want more stock market videos from me, hit the like button. I'll know to make more of them. And if you want my next video update, it could have another trading idea like this in it, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell next to it, then YouTube will send you an alert as soon as it is uploaded for you to watch. And I'll be talking with you later.